The approval process for capital expenditure requests can be tedious, time-consuming, and prone to error. This short demo will show how CapEx Connect can help streamline, simplify, and shorten the process. Imagine this scenario. A logistics company needs to purchase 12 trucks. 2 purchasing managers must approve the request, and because it's more than their $250,000 threshold, 2 executives must also give their approval. With CapEx Connect, managing these requests is simple because users can easily set up approvers, approval criteria, and approval templates to create a streamlined process. As you can see, we have created approver records for our relevant personas. Approval criteria is where we configure the system to follow a certain process if the request is over a certain amount, in this case, $250,000. We also set criteria determining who should be involved in the approval process. As you can see, this request triggers the need for executive approvers since it's over the threshold. Please note that approval template steps specify roles, not specific individuals. This allows us to name multiple approvers when we create the approval. Because CapEx requests are often repetitive, we can create templates for common requests. Here you see a vehicle template with lines for fuel, overhead, and maintenance. Users can also categorize CapEx requests by type. For example, building, equipment, machinery, and vehicle. Now, imagine you want to submit a CapEx request for 12 new trucks. Here's how. First, create a new CapEx request record. Then populate the values accordingly. Click Save to see the grid for CapEx request lines. You can then copy lines from the selected template by opening the Populate Data stage and running the flow. Click Next Stage and then lines copied from the template should now appear in your new CapEx request. At $35,000 apiece, your request for 12 trucks totals $420,000. But there are also costs for fuel, overhead, and annual maintenance. To get the total, click the calculator icon next to the total amount and then recalculate. Your total request is $438,000. Now it's time to create an approval document. Once you run the flow, an approval document will appear in your Approval Documents tab. Here you'll see lines defaulted from the CapEx request and a link to the new Microsoft Teams conversation. Now we're ready to push our approval doc through the approval flow. To prevent errors, make sure you've linked to the correct documents and departments. There are essentially 5 steps to pushing through an approval request: determining an approval template, validating the template, generating approvers, validating approvers, and then initiating the approvals by running the flow. The Start Approval flow creates an approval step for each active approver. Since large requests need executive approval in this scenario, our approvers include 2 executives. Started means the approver has received an auto-generated approval request. Created means the system has created a step, but the request won't activate until previous steps are complete. You can see approval requests in Microsoft Teams. Once all purchasing managers approve the request, you can see the record in both CapEx Connect and in Teams. Now we can see our first executive approved the request, but the second did not. He asked that we adjust the request to only 8 trucks instead of 12. So that's what we do. Let's say the new request only needs to go to 2 approvers. Here we can deactivate the other 2 to save time and confusion. We then run the Start Approval flow again to generate a new approval doc and deactivate the old one. Now imagine the final executive has signed off on the adjusted request. Once everyone has approved the proposal, the status changes to Approved. Then you move to the next stage and finish the CapEx record, which concludes your CapEx request process. With CapEx Connect, tracking and managing capital expenditures is fast and easy. Learn more at mcaconnect.com.